All four are revealed in Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita also appears, but at the same time, there are many dharma discourses which appear in Mahabharata. Vidura Niti. Today we are going to see Rajadharma of Bhishma, which is very, very popular. Anugita, which will come, and very fascinating. One of the biggest story on the planet. And Vedvasji's brilliance is that he has captured the essence and given to us, and how it is reaching us. Also, we will see what is the history of Mahabharata, how it was documented, and how from Dwapar Yug, which happened in Dwapar Yug, it is reaching us today. From oral version to printing press to now digital version. So let us sit straight. Take a deep, slow, conscious breath. Head, neck, backbone straight. This position of the body is most suitable for spiritual sadhana. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam. At least for some time, I must be able to sit still without moving even eyelid or the eyes inside when they are closed. Because when the body is still, the mind also becomes still. Let us withdraw our mind from all that has happened in our past, regrets, incompleteness. Let us withdraw our mind from future anxieties, worries, what will happen next moment we do not know. Present tensions and confusions. And let us take a deep, slow, conscious breath. Let us invoke God's grace and Guru Parampara's blessings by chanting loudly together. Om. 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 Om Sanavavatu Sanau Bhunaktu Saviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बू फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजं सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। श्रीवेदव्यासाय नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। हरि ओम्।
Hari Om. Thank you, Manisha. So we are studying the Itihas, the Mahabharat, and we saw that after Duryodhan refused even one needle point of land to his own cousins, the war became inevitable. Even though Krishna came as Lord himself came as a peace messenger and asked for 5 villages, those were refused. There even he showed his Vishwaswarup when Duryodhan tried to capture him. Still, the war happened because of Duryodhan's arrogance, Dhritarashtra's blindness, blind attachment to power and his son. And we saw that one by one, the Rathi Maharathis are gone. Bhishma Pitamaha is lying on the arrow bed, still alive. Dronacharya is gone, Karna is gone, Dushasana is gone. 99 Kauravas have gone out of 47 lakh warriors, only 11 were left in the end. And today we are on the 18th day where there is going to be a fight between Duryodhan and Bhim. But before that, very important that after this war, Gandhari cursed Krishna that you could have stopped the war. And she was very unhappy about it. So what we have to learn from Gandhari is that there are some people who, whatever happens in their life, they curse God. She could have stopped. It was her own son. She could have stopped. Her own husband was the king of Hastinapur. But how that is how the whole plan was done by Vishnuji. So that we will see how she curses Krishna when the war is over. And she also has given Duryodhan invincibility by asking him to come naked. Krishna saves here again the moment by informing Duryodhan that he cannot go completely naked, at least cover his middle portion, and his thigh remains vulnerable. So in the Mahabharat war, normally we think that what was Duryodhan's role? Did he only fight with Bhim in the last? No, he was fighting all 18 days. There are some good points also in Duryodhan. Bhishma Pitamaha criticizes Duryodhan, also praises him. How he has praised Duryodhan? That He was brave. Duryodhana is brave, energetic, one of the greatest Gada fighters, skilled archer, very difficult to defeat, fearless, mentally unshaken with losses. That is the quality which is highlighted many times by Bhishma Pitamaha, and in Mahabharat it comes. Like before him, he can see, his 99 brothers going, Karna, Duryodhan, Dushasan, Dronacharya, but is mentally unshaken. He doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want to surrender. Also, it has been mentioned in Mahabharat that he fought Arjun multiple times with bow and arrow, fought alone with Nakul and Sahadev, fought with Yudhishthir, repeatedly fought with five Pandavas together, and here Bhishma and Dronacharya had to go and save him because he is the king. If he is gone, so they saved him, retrieved. And there are many times Bhima and Duryodhana has fought with bow and arrow. So qualities of Duryodhana are fearless, mentally very tough, but on the negative side, which spiritual sadhaks become so mentally tough like Duryodhana. So what we can learn from Duryodhana is mental toughness, not getting bogged down by losses what he can see before him. He refuses to surrender and continues fighting and finally enters the final Gada Yuddha. There we had stopped last time. So we saw that Duryodhana had taken some rest in the lake and he wanted the combat one-on-one. So he went inside and refused to come out. Only when Pandavas and Krishna agreed that, okay, there will be 1-to-1, not 5-to-1. He agreed and came out and he fought on his own terms. So there are various stages of the battle, and this battle lasted for around 2 to 3 hours or half a day between Bhim and Duryodhan. Stage 1 was equal combat between Bhim and Duryodhan. Both were charged up. Krishna was observing the entire battle very closely. And it is in a lot of description happens on the footwork, balance, circular movement, thigh positioning, defensive Gada techniques, etc. And Krishna knew that Duryodhan was superior into techniques and Bhim was superior into raw power. Bhim had raw power, but Duryodhan was more technically skilled in Gada than Bhim. So stage 2, Bhim starts struggling. Bhim starts getting exhausted. One of the reasons why Bhim understands that Duryodhana is invincible because of his body, which has become like Vajra because of the mother's Ashirwad. So Krishna notices that Bhim is losing his energy and Duryodhana has started overpowering him. Stage 3 comes when Krishna tells Arjun, now this is again a slight variation than what we have seen on the screen. Krishna tells Arjun, calls Arjun and tells him to remind about his vow. Bhim has taken a vow in Hastinapur Sabha that I will break your thigh when Duryodhan actually, when Draupadi is brought down publicly, he humiliates Draupadi by tapping his thigh, saying that you come and sit on this thigh, you are my slave now. Very vulgar act by Duryodhan, and that is the time Bhim had taken a vow that I will break your thigh, which you have tapped. And that Krishna tells Arjun to remind him. So Arjun taps his own thigh and reminds Bhim, and Bhim immediately understands that he has taken a vow. So now the rule in Gada Yuddha is that they cannot do a war. They cannot attack somebody below the waist. That is a rule. And the vow taken by Bhima that I will break your thigh. So now Bhim goes his own vow because Bhishma had gone his vow. Everybody has taken their own vow. And then Bhim breaks the rule here and breaks the thigh. And then Duryodhan falls down. Now we also wonder, because these things we don't think about. Sometimes when this war is going on, battle is going on, who are all present there? So all Pandavas are present there and watching. Krishna is there. Balram also comes. Balram also is watching because Balram's both are Shishyas. So Balram becomes very, very angry that Bhim has broken the vow. So he gets up and he says, I will kill Bhim. Now here later on we will see what were Krishna's problem. We normally think that Krishna is Lord, but we have never encountered problems what Krishna has encountered. Because that is also another misconception with many people. That no, that is okay, but my life is very different. You don't know my life. My life problems are different than anybody else's life problems. We will see later on when Krishna gives up his body, 5 minutes, we will see what were Krishna's problem, international, national, personal, family problems. So Krishna has to convince Balram that please remember the rules were broken by Duryodhan, by cheating, by Lakshagruha, by Dyuta Krida, by Draupadi Vastraharan and Abhimanyu Vad. All these things Krishna repeats before Balram, and Balram, gets pacified and walks away. And Duryodhan is left there to die, to suffer. Duryodhan has not yet died. He is injured, but now he cannot get up. So Pandavas leave from there because this battle is happening away from the battlefield near the lake where Duryodhan is hiding, was hiding, then he came out of that lake. So 18th day is over with Duryodhan's falling down. In the late evening, when the war is over here, the war is going on. Ashwathama, Kripacharya and Kritamarma, who are from Kaurava's side, they visit Duryodhan and they see that Duryodhan is lying down. They come to know that this will be the end of Duryodhan. But the point to note here is that Ashwathama takes a vow that by tonight I will kill all Pandavas. And they have a discussion with Duryodhan. Duryodhan approves his methodology. He says, Ashwathama says, tonight I will enter Pandavas' camp at night when the war should not happen. I will kill when they are sleeping. And very interestingly, now Duryodhan, after so much of going through, we have to note a point is that Duryodhan approves of his plan that, okay, go and kill Pandavas. So that is one important point. Like in Ramayana, Ravan also doesn't give up till the last. So Duryodhan is left there injured and to suffer. And here Ashwathama says that I will come and inform you once they are dead. But before Ashwathama comes that evening, Duryodhan is dead. So 18th night, Duryodhan passes away. So that night is a very eventful night in Mahabharat. Ashwathama, Kripacharya and Kritavarma both go after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock because they know where Pandavas are camping. Krishna has already told Pandavas that night, now 18th day, 18th day Duryodhana is killed, so they must go away from the camp and sleep near one river. So Krishna has already anticipated this. He doesn't tell them, but he says, no, Duryodhana is killed, let us not sleep in the camp. So again, Krishna saves Pandavas. So Krishna, along with Pandavas, go and sleep near the one river which is away from the main war front. Ashwatthama enters the tent. In the war zone, there are tents pitched up, and they're all marked. Who is staying where, everyone knows because they used to visit each other every night. Kripacharya and Kritavarma guards the tent door so that no one can escape. And Ashwatthama enters the tent and he kills Drishtadyumna when he is sleeping. He kills Shikhandi when he is sleeping. And there are 5 people who are sleeping at night. He can see, he rejoices thinking that they are Pandavas and kills them. So they are actually Draupadi's 5 sons, Draupadiyas. Now, Draupadi's sons are teenagers. They are almost 20-year-old, 25-year-old. They are also told that they have fought war along with Pandavas. So, Ashwatthama kills 5 Draupadi children and Drishtadyumna and Shikhandi. And by the time they go to inform Duryodhan, Duryodhan has already passed away thinking that Pandavas would be killed tonight. Next day morning, the news immediately comes early morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that the CID comes and tells that this is what has happened. Bhim runs to capture Ashwatthama. All Pandavas together come and capture Ashwatthama. Arjun removes his money. There is a money which is there on his forehead, which is making him invincible. Arjun removes that money. It starts bleeding. He starts shouting. And there also Bhim says, let us kill him. Now, this is what the mistake many of us earlier also has done, that we have left the warrior, we have left the king, we have left, and Yudhishthir says, no, let us leave him, let us not kill him. So Ashwatthama is left. Ashwatthama comes to know that Pandavas are alive and the 5 people whom he killed were Draupadi's son. So he vows to destroy Pandava lineage. He invokes Brahmastra because Ashwatthama is taught by Dronacharya only. Because we know that Dronacharya's attachment was towards his son. So Ashwatthama invokes Brahmastra. So when Brahmastra is invoked, here Arjun also invokes Brahmastra because Brahmastra can only be countered by Brahmastra. And that time Ved Vyasji and Narad Muni comes there. He says both have to withdraw this Brahmastra because when 2 Brahmastras will come together, this world will be destroyed. This entire world will be destroyed. Because this is Brahmastra. It's not an ordinary astra. You cannot use it for these reasons. Now, very interestingly, Arjun knows how to withdraw it. Ashwatthama doesn't know how to withdraw it. As Abhimanyu knew how to enter the Chakravyuh but didn't know how to come out. So Ashwatthama doesn't withdraw. Very, very vulgar thing what he does. He directs the Brahmastra towards the unborn child of Uttara, who is in the womb. So the Brahmastra goes and kills. It is Brahmastra, he can destroy the universe. It goes and kills that unborn child which is in Uttara's womb. Krishna, and he runs away. Krishna is there. He is the Lord. He saves the child by revitalizing it because he knows if this child goes away, Pandava lineage will be destroyed. Kauravas are already destroyed. Pandavas also will be destroyed. So there is no lineage to rule. And how will Yada Yada Dharmasya will be established? Because finally Bhagavan has taken avatar for Yada Yada Dharmasya. So now Krishna revitalizes the child and curses Ashwathama that you will wander earth for thousands of years suffering because there will be blood oozing from your head and you will have extreme pain, extreme suffering, but you will be alive. So people say that Ashwathama is Chiranjeev, but Ashwathama is suffering. So what is the learning for us? That there are some people who are cursed that they will suffer throughout their life. Maybe something bad they would have done earlier. And they remember the pain, all the time in pain, all the time in suffering. And for thousands of years, Krishna gives him curse that you will roam around the earth because this is the most vulgarest thing what you have done by using Brahmastra towards an unborn child in the womb who cannot fight also. So here where the whole drama of the war gets completed, Sanjay returns from the battlefield to narrate the complete destruction to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra listens, all 100 sons gone. Bhishma is on the deathbed, Drona, Karna, Duryodhan, all gone. And his reaction is what? His reaction is collapse in grief. Number one. Second, very interestingly, he questions the fate. That is another learning from Dhritarashtra. If anything bad happens, we will say, Bhagwan, why are you doing this to me? क्या करूं, मेरा नसीब ही खराब है. Here, it was in your hand to stop the war. Why you are cursing the fate? When something good happens, we don't remember the fate. He questions dharma. That this was a dharmic yuddha and what happened? But then what your children did, you only supported the Lakshagruha, you only supported Draupadi Vastraharan, you only supported Dyuta, you only supported Abhimanyu Vad, and that time you didn't never questioned about fate. Then he also, questions his own blindness, both physical and moral. So the blind Dhritarashtra is a symbolism of that we are blind towards life, what is happening. Like one of the things what we can do is that every day visit one Smashan Bhumi and see how our body is burning. And then one day imagine that my body also will be there. You might say it is very bad you're telling on Sunday morning. But one must learn. Buddha saw one dead body, Buddha saw one old age person, Buddha saw one, Gautama saw one person who was deceased and he had Vairagya, and still every day we must go and see and enter one slum area and come back, and how people are living in this heat. People are, kitna garmi hai, kitna garmi hai, kitna garmi hai. And there are people who are living in patra shade, 8 to 10 people with one fan, without fan. And then we are bothered about small problems we have. What is their problem and what is our problem? There is no comparison. So we must visit at least once in slum and come back. And we must visit at least whenever we are sad or we are bored, we must go and visit Smashan Bhumi and see one body burning. And see one day my body will be burning and the sound will come. Why we are telling this? Because out of 47 lakhs, 46 lakhs, more than 46 lakhs people died. And still the person is not able to understand and blames the fate. Why we are mentioning this is that when Pandavas come back to Hastinapur now, Lord Krishna is there with them as a savior. Dhritarashtra says that I want to embrace Bhim. My Duryodhan son is not there, now I want to embrace Bhim. And then Krishna warns him, he says, wait, because Dhritarashtra is blind. So he doesn't allow Bhim to go into his embrace. He takes a metal statue of a Duryodhana had made for fighting. He puts that statue before Dhritarashtra and Dhritarashtra embraces that, and that statue of metal is crushed because it has been written in Mahabharat that Dhritarashtra had 100 elephants' power. Because he still wanted to kill Bhima who had killed Duryodhana. And then he realizes his anger, breaks down in remorse, becomes sad. Gandhari moans. After the war, maximum lamentation is done by Gandhari. The dialogues more of Gandhari. Even Draupadi's son were killed. Kunti's one son was not there, but Kunti also has suffered throughout. But their dialogues are not there. Gandhari's dialogues are there. And Gandhari accuses Krishna that you could have stopped the war. As I was mentioning earlier, there are many people who blame God for what is happening on earth. Like that joke, I always say that, it was there in some movie, Sanjeev Kumar's movie, I think. In that, Krishna also comes in that movie. That girl gets pregnant before marriage and then she says, Bhagwan, ye aapne kya kar diya? And Bhagwan appears. Bhagwan says, I didn't do anything. You only did and you got pregnant. What did I do? So Gandhari's famous statement comes that you could have stopped this war, but you didn't. And she curses Krishna that you will see the entire Yadava clan. Krishna's surname is Yadav. Yadava clan will perish before your eyes. As I saw my entire Kauravas dying before me, you will also see that. So, Gandhari, Kunti, Draupadi and other women, now women are in large number, small children, old people remaining. So, they walk, Gandhari, Kunti, Draupadi, Kuru women, among all the corpse. They go to the battlefield, they see headless bodies, broken chariots, widows mourning. That is all very highlighted in post-Mahabharat war. Massive cremation rituals take place. Brahmins are called. Countless warriors are gone. They have to be cremated now. Yudhishthira takes responsibility of the rites. Just imagine Yudhishthir's grace and his balance, though he later on collapses. He takes the responsibility of doing cremation rites of all warriors. And the impact of that is Yudhishthira is devastated. He feels guilty. He has moral conflict. And when these all rites are over, Kunti tells Pandavas that Karna was your brother. That is a time Pandavas come to know that Karna is your brother. After all rites are over, Kunti tells that actually Karna was your real brother. Yudhishthir gets devastated. He says, how could you hold on to this information and you didn't tell us? And that is a time in Mahabharat there is a famous curse on women Yudhishthir gives. You may laugh here, but that is Yudhishthir's curse on women. So Yudhishthir curses all women that, Mata, you could hold such secret for so long. I henceforth curse women that they will not be able to hold secret for long. They will share. So this is a famous curse comes in Mahabharat, and that's the reason they say that women are not able to hold, information. They want to share. And they say, don't share with anybody, but they will share. Women will not be able to keep secrets. That is a Yudhishthir curse to women. So Yudhishthir goes into huge depression. This is highlighted in post Mahabharat quite a bit. Lots and lots of verses about Yudhishthir, depression happens. Moral crisis for him. And his dialogues are this. Some of the dialogues I'm going to mention, but there is a huge, long journey of, exceptions proves the rule, Jayanti ji. So, as Guruji says, exception proves the rules. Majority, they say, not all. So Yudhishthir says, kingdom built on blood is meaningless. I don't want this Hastina. Wished we had taken shelter in Dwarka and begged for living, because that was belonging to Krishna. We could have gone to Dwarka and lived in his kingdom. I do not want his kingdom. I want to go and repent in forest. So there are lots and lots of dialogues by Pandavas, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhim, and especially by Krishna to motivate Yudhishthir. And now Krishna says that to motivate Yudhishthir that Bhishma is still alive. You should visit Bhishma and learn from him. He is the best knowledgeable person on the planet right now who can guide you on Raja Dharma, because he's seen many generations. So Krishna takes Yudhishthir and Pandavas there everyday evening, visit him, Bhishma. So after a couple of days, when this depression is going on, Krishna takes Yudhishthir to Bhishma and says that please guide him. Krishna says to Bhishma. Bhishma says to Krishna that I am tired. My body is paining with arrows. I cannot talk clearly. So now Krishna blesses him that you will not, it's a very interesting blessing by Krishna to Bhishma. You will not experience pain henceforth. Number one, you will not feel exhaustion henceforth. And while talking, you will not be bothered by hunger and thirst. So rest of the time when Bhishma is there, till Uttarayan, when he gives up his body, he is not having any pain and suffering. So Yudhishthir is still not asking, because he is having a lot of guilt that so many warriors have got killed. Because in our Shastra it is dialogue. And then once Bhishma himself starts consoling him, motivating him, and says a very interesting dialogue that just like it is teachers' dharma to teach and engage in austerities, it is dharma of warrior to kill opponents when faced with war, whoever they may be. Because Yudhishthir is feeling guilty and ashamed because they themselves have, almost killed Bhishma Pitama. And then there is a very, very beautiful, very subtle, worth reading. And especially I feel that today's all politicians must read this dialogue. We can see what is going in West Bengal and how these politicians are dealing. This Raja Dharma of Bhishma is brilliant. So some highlights of this Raja Dharma, what Yudhishthir asks is, now it is a dialogue between Yudhishthir and Bhishma. So Yudhishthir asks a question And then Bhishma answers that question. This goes on for several days, not one day. So Yudhishthir, Krishna and all Pandavas will come with some of them. Yudhishthir will ask question. Bhishma will say again they will go back, again they will come back. This goes on for a couple of days. So some of the highlights of Raja Dharma by Bhishma. Number one, foremost duty of a king or a minister or a prime minister is well-being, happiness of all people, protection of truth and honesty in dealings. I wish our West Bengal ministers, chief ministers, gone ministers listen to this. Not to destroy wealth of his people and ensure what is promised is delivered. Today there is a new trend, when outgoing government come to know they have lost the election, in the last 2 days they empty the entire treasury and hand over to next government. In Maharashtra also we saw Uddhav Thackeray in the last 2 days 82 GRC signed when he came to know he lost. Today also we saw 2 days before in West Bengal the treasury is emptied because they came to know they are going to lose the election and hand over. King must be courageous. Number one. King must be compassionate. Second, C. Composed and understood the essence of scriptures. They must be well read in scriptures. King. So we must check. We must have one session for Bhagavad Gita for all politicians. King must have a strong spy network. Must be aware of opponent's weakness. King must take proper care of 7 elements which are pivotal to success. What are the 7 elements? The king. The king must take care of the king. Ministers. Today there are so many people who complained about their own chief minister. They are not taken care of. Treasury. Forts. Citizens. Armed forces and allies who are supporting them. This we must take care of. What a brilliant advice. Wish today's politicians and ministers and MLAs listen to this, that what actually they must take care of. The king should not blindly trust anyone. A king must be polite in speech. And very, very interestingly, the king must have Indriya control. Otherwise, you are not a king. And then it has been written here, Bhishma says that how will one who has not won over oneself ever win over one's enemies? So Indriya control is mentioned. The king should give up all 18 indulgences, 10 arising from kama and 8 arising from krodha, anger. So 18 indulgences must be given up by king. 10 from kama, passion, and 8 from krodha, anger. What are those? From kama, hunting, because that time hunting was a passion. We saw so many kings went for hunting and then problem started. Hunting, today also we have case going on against Salman Khan hunting. Hunting, gambling, sleeping during the day, intoxication, because kings were intoxicated, listening, playing, singing, dancing in public. Very interesting. Today we find mobile phones, people are listening and walking while listening only. Playing, singing, dancing in public, king should not do. Sexual excesses, strongly criticizing others. This is driven by kama. And what are driven by krodha? 8. Backbiting. A king should not do backbiting. Reckless. Now we must be thinking that, okay, I am not a king, but we are also leaders. We are leading a family. Some people say, no, I live in a family. No, you are leading a family. Backbiting, reckless action, rebelling without a cause, jealousy, resentment, destroying someone else's wealth, roughness in speech, and giving intense punishment. These are all coming from Krodha. A king must not do this. And you can see Raja Shivaji, when his descriptions are given by Samartha Ramdas Swami, he describes exactly lot of qualities what are described here of a king. Bhishma lists down 13 inner enemies to control and mentions 32 virtues to develop. That you all should read independently. What are the topics? How to deal with wicked people. He has given, some people say how to deal with difficult people. You should read this. Many people have asked me this question. How to deal with difficult person. How to deal with wicked people. How to find true friends. What a beautiful topic. How to appoint ministers. How to deal with adversaries. How to ensure treasury is always full. How to have noble governance. So Bhishma overall explains 20 topics to Yudhishthir. And that's the reason Yudhishthir goes back, and then we have 1,500 years of lineage of Yada Yadai Dharmasya. So Bharat was into safe hands with all this knowledge. So when this is going on, one day Arjun and Krishna are sitting in Hastinapur, maybe having a cup of tea, relaxing a little bit because they are friends. Arjun says quietly to our Lord Krishna, this is very interesting, that I want to hear the Bhagavad Gita once again. Can you please tell me the Bhagavad Gita once again, please? So Krishna says, why again you want to listen? No, that time I was amidst the war. Now I am relaxed. Now there is no war happening. My mind is quieter. My mind is more relaxed. Now there is a very interesting, very powerful verse by Lord Krishna here. Nunam shakyam tanmaya bhuyastata vaktum sheshatah param hi brahma kathitam yoga yuktena chetasa. Lord Krishna tells him that that teaching of the Supreme Brahman, that time I was in Brahman, was delivered when my mind was absorbed in yoga. It is not possible to repeat in the same way fully. So very, very important point for us to note. Knowledge is not just the content what we are listening from the teacher. That's the reason Guruji says that our Shastra says that, earlier days, Shishas used to go to Guru's house or ashram and learn in presence, Upanishad. And people think, no, I have done, I have heard Bhagavad Gita, I have heard Mahabharat, I have heard Upanishad. It is only content. Very important point. Lord Krishna says that real knowledge actually is a state of transmission from Guru to Shishya. And when there is that tuning, when there is that bhava, when there is that inner connect between the teacher and the student, and this I have experienced with Gurudev. You go with questions and without answering the questions are dissolved. So in the presence of the master like Gurudev, there is no content. We only say, oh, I heard, I've heard all Upanishads now, Brahma Sutra. It is not content hearing, it is transmission. Adhyatma Anubhava. So Lord Krishna says that is not possible right now. So now but still Arjun asks questions and there is a small Anugita. Anu is after the war. That was before the war. So Bhagavad Gita prepares you for righteous action. How to act in the world with wisdom. Anugita prepares you for ultimate renunciation and realization. So Anugita is different than Bhagavad Gita because Anugita is more towards renunciation, realization, because now the war is over. Though Arjun later on fought so many wars that we will see. But some of the teachings from Anugita today, how to transcend the world through knowledge, that is there in Anugita, highlighted. These are all concepts in the Bhagavad Gita, but more emphasis here is on renunciation. Same teacher, same student, yet the teaching is different as the context is different. Finally, it has been mentioned that silence is the ultimate knowledge. Words are ladders. Truth is beyond. Very powerful statement. I'll read again. Silence is the ultimate knowledge. In Bible also it has been mentioned, be still and know God. A still body, silent mind. That is where God is revealed. Silence is ultimate knowledge. Finally, all this knowledge must take us just to silence. The mind must be quiet. Mind must be alert. Mind must be peaceful. Silence is ultimate knowledge. Words are ladders. Truth is beyond. Both. This is highlighted now. Monday we are not having any class, but 24th, 25th May we will start Kenopanishad. Very, very advanced Upanishad. Lot of topics are there which are advanced Vedanta topics. Very interesting. There it has been mentioned that actually the truth is beyond known and above the unknown. You not know it. Strong shift in Anugita from battlefield duty to inner realization. That is a Anugita. Now Bhagavan says that mind is the central battlefield now. Bondage happens when mind goes out of senses. So now the battlefield for you, Arjun, is your own mind. That time I was telling you about outer battlefield. Discipline the mind. How? By withdrawal from outer world and have inner mastery now. Now you have created outer mastery. Now you go for inner mastery. There is an emphasis on self-knowledge, detachment and renunciation in Anugita. And now some of the pointers of Bhagavad Gita are highlighted. The self is unborn, unchanging witness of all experiences. Similar to Gita, but more contemplative, less motivational. Action is necessary, Bhagavan says in Anugita, but liberation comes from understanding the self. Now you start focusing on understanding your own self. True renunciation is internal, not just giving up actions. Now your war is over. Just don't think that you are renunciate. No, it is internal renunciation. Renunciation means acceptance of everything as Brahman. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Not that I withdraw from everything. And giving up, practice giving up. Ego, attachment and doership. Three things Bhagavan mentions in Anugita. Explains how guna binds, sattva binds through knowledge, rajas through activity, and tamas through inertia. And in Anugita, the difference is more emphasis is given on nirguna dhyana than saguna dhyana. And finally, Bhagavan concludes that this is accomplished through self-knowledge and detachment. Liberation is the final goal of human birth. Now you have done Artha, Kama, Moksha, Dharma. Now your final goal is Moksha, that is complete fulfilled life. And that is Atma Jnana. What is Atma Jnana? Bhagavan explains in Anugita, freedom from all sorrows, delusion, fear and anger. So that is the highlight of Anugita. Very, very beautiful. Almost like an Upanishad, but short compared to Bhagavad Gita. And then there Yudhishthir gets Raj Dharma from Bhishma here, Arjun gets again Anugita from Lord Krishna, and now time is ready for Yada Yada Dharmasya to establish Dharma. So, in the next session, we will see that how crowning of Yudhishthir happens and how interesting post-war scenario in Hastinapur. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.